Hello everyone, I'm Wisdom Cube, and welcome back to another installment of Fictional Review. And today I'm going to be reviewing a series that I just finished watching on Netflix yesterday called She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Now, this show is really good, so let's get into it. Now, our story basically centers around Adora as she grew up in the Horde, and one day she ends up finding the Sword of Power that allows her to transform into the titular She-Ra. And because of that, she ends up leaving the Horde, and essentially Catra, her best friend, which we'll get back to later, um, she ends up staying with the Horde. And so now Adora, alongside her new friends, Princess Glimmer and Bow, together they must rally the other princesses of power to reforge a new princess alliance in order to stop the Horde from taking over and or destroying Etheria. Yeah, so that's basically the show's plot in a nutshell. It ran for 5 seasons, and it's good, but I think there are some issues I have. But let's go over the positives. I'm sorry. Let's go over the positives first. For one, the story. I really enjoy it as it's engaging and the mystery revolving around like the legend of She-Ra and the ongoing war with the Horde is really intriguing. Like it had me hooked from the very first episode all the way to the very last episode. Now, on to the characters. They are really good with, um, I think my favorite one is uh, the tech princess Entrapta. she just, she's just so, like, into her work and curious about the new types of technology that are, like, that she finds throughout the series. And her friendship with Hordak is really great as she is slowly like um opening up herself to interacting with others. And if it wasn't for Adora, Glimmer, and Bo coming to her like secret lab essentially when they first met her, uh, Entrapta would have stayed in her lab, and those robots would have basically like caused an uprising of sorts. yeah. Um, yeah, the characters are all really well done, and their story arcs are like interesting, but they do fumble here and there. Now, what else? Um, oh yeah, that animation. I really enjoy the animation for a 2018 cartoon. The animation is really well done. Yeah, so that's my thoughts. So, on to the negatives. I think the negatives I have are like the pacing for one. Like there are like some episodes throughout the series I feel were just going like too fast. That's just my opinion, but I feel like some characters' development has gone either like a moderate pace or like too fast. But that's just my opinion. And speaking of the characters, while I do enjoy them, I do feel like um, some of the characters, like in terms of their development, do have a tendency to fumble. Like For a perfect example, Glimmer. At the sorry, spoilers. At the end of season three, after her mother sacrifices herself to save Antheria, Glimmer basically uh, pushes away her friends, and I can understand why, because of the ongoing stress she has, and not just her mother's sacrifice, but also the ongoing war with Hordak and her making like decisions without consulting the others about it. Yeah, I feel like that's where her character took a turn for the worse. And I'll get back to the taking a turn for the worse later on, especially when I talk about the next character. But yeah, I feel like now, granted, a Glimmer does redeem herself during season 5 after she's rescued, but yeah, she does help make amends with her friends. But yeah, I feel like if Glimmer just talked to Adora and Bo instead of pushing them away again, which is understandable, I feel like that whole part of her character development would have been like solved like almost like 2 episodes. But yeah, now speaking of which, um, let's talk about Catra's development. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is gonna sound really hurtful, but I do not like Catra and Adora's relationship in this series. Uh, I'm sorry for all the Cat Dora fans out there, but this is my honest opinion. Because even given Catra's background, uh, that does not excuse her for what she does to Adora. She doesn't really treat Adora as a friend most of the time. She mostly treats her as like someone as well and a victim. She Adora is basically Catra's victim. Physically, emotionally, mentally, you get my point. But anyway, and now yes, you could make the argument, well, Catra was abused by Shadow Weaver. And yes, you can make that argument as much as you want. And I'll get to Shadow Weaver in a second. But regardless, um, I feel like Catra's and Adora's relationship shouldn't have happened, especially when you put romance into it. Because, yeah, that made me sick. I'm pretty sure there are other people out there who don't like Cat Dora, but again, that's my opinion because I could go on and on, but I'm just going to sum this up with um, Adora deserves better, and Catra really, if you were going to redeem her, have her be redeemed throughout the story. Um, especially in season 5. Um, it was only like 1 episode, but the main issue I had is that none of the other characters really called Catra out for what she did. Like, aside from her abuse, I'm gonna call it as such, towards Adora, that doesn't take into account of um oh yeah, nearly destroying Etheria because she wanted to win against Adora for once. And that's not even taking into consideration the amount of disrespect that she has towards Scorpia and the rest of the Horde cadets. Whew. I apologize, I just had to get that out. But yeah, um, I do like the idea of Catra being redeemed. I just don't like how they went about it. Sorry, I just Had to get that out. Now on to Shadow Weaver. I'm just gonna say this right now. She did not deserve her redemption. She has done nothing legitimately to earn it, and her last minute sacrifice. Was I supposed to feel sympathy for her? No. I'm just gonna say no. Okay? Okay. Whew. Okay. Now that I got all those three characters out of the way, I'm just gonna continue on. Now, aside from those problems I have, I still really like She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. I think it's enjoyable aside from the problems I have, but I still enjoy it for what it is. Now, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power? Me personally, I'm going to give it a 3.1 out of 5. No, wait, scratch that. A 4.5 out of 10. Yeah. Um, Aside from the many problems I have, it's watchable. It's enjoyable, it's watchable, and I'm pretty sure you guys will probably enjoy it for what it is. That's just my opinion. Now, what are your thoughts? Just comment below, let me know. I'm Wisdom Q, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.